This is chapter 6 of the book titled God's Gift to Woman by Michael Baisden. Early Sunday afternoon, Samantha and I arrived at Houston Intercontinental Airport. It was 10 o'clock in the morning and the temperature was already 85 degrees. The humidity was so high, I worked up a sweat just walking up the jetway. "Welcome to Texas," I said to Samantha. She was sweating so badly, her French braid was coming loose. After waiting at baggage claim for what seemed like an eternity, we picked up our rental car from Hertz and headed out to our new house. It was in a suburb called Sugarland, about a 45-minute drive from the airport. I was impressed by how smooth Houston's roads were. In Chicago, you were liable to hit a pothole every 20 feet. The urban radio stations weren't bad. I turned it to Magic 102 as we merged onto the Sam Houston Beltway. I was surprised to hear a familiar voice, Funky Larry Jones, who used to be with WGCI in Chicago back in the late 80s. He must have been sitting in for another DJ because he was usually on during the afternoon drive on weekdays. But who cared? I was just glad he was playing old school music. I was flashing back to the days of basement parties and roller skating in Markham, Illinois. I almost crashed into the median when he played the song Bounce, Rock, Skate. That was a roller skating classic. Just as we passed the jam-packed I-10 expressway, Sam let out a loud scream. "Look, Daddy, look!" When I saw what she was pointing at, I couldn't believe my eyes. There was a huge billboard of me on the west side of the highway, just before the toll booth. The background was off-white. The text was in bold red and green letters. It read, "Love, Lust, and Lies with Julian Payne. Weeknights, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. on 102.3 WBMX. I pulled over onto the shoulder and stepped out of the car. I didn't know what else to do, so I just stared at it. "Smile, Daddy." Samantha leaned out of the window aiming her camera. "Say cheese." We took turns taking pictures of one another posing in front of the billboard until a cop pulled up behind us. Instead of giving me a ticket, he asked for my autograph. Samantha was bubbling with pride. It was the first time she ever saw her father give an autograph. Not long after we got back on the road, we merged onto Highway 59. 3 miles from there was our exit onto Highway 6. Samantha was in awe as we passed by all the brand new shopping malls and parks with tennis courts. I knew she would be just as excited when she saw our house. My realtor made sure the new furniture was delivered and set up. Everything had to be perfect for Sam. When we turned the corner into our subdivision, Sam's jaw dropped. The streets were spotless and the lawns were beautifully manicured. Service trucks lined the streets. Eddie's Pool Service, Mary May's, and Superior Landscaping. It was a scene right out of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I slowed down as we approached our house. It was a beige 2-story brick on the left side of the street. "Which one is it, Daddy?" she frantically asked. "Is that our house? Is it?" I decided to stop torturing her and pulled into our driveway. Sam leaped out of the car and started running around in the yard. "We're rich! We're rich!" she yelled out. "No, sweetheart, we're not rich. I'm rich. I laughed as I swung her around in a circle. Let's go inside. I've got a surprise for you. We ran around to the front of the house like two kids on Christmas morning. I put the key in the lock and slowly turned the knob. Close your eyes, I told her. I led her by the hand into the living room, then drew the blinds so she could get a good look at what was inside and outside. Surprise! When she opened her eyes, she was speechless. In the corner sat a black baby grand piano. I had her name engraved on the panel. It read, "To Princess, from Daddy." I figured since you listen to Alicia Keys so much, you might want to learn to play like her. I love it, Daddy. She held me as tightly as she could. You're the best daddy in the whole wide world. Hey, it's hot in here. You want to go for a swim? Yeah. Let me go get my swimming cap and goggles out of my bag. She ran towards the door. How far away is the pool? I'd say about 50 feet. Samantha stopped dead in her tracks. She was so overwhelmed by the piano, she never bothered to look out the window at the pool in the backyard. Last one in is a rotten egg. I pulled off my shoes and took off running. Samantha was right on my tail. When we reached the edge of the pool, we held hands and jumped in together. We splashed around in our jeans and t-shirts until we were exhausted. I put her on my back and swam into the shallow end, then sat her on the edge. She became quiet all of a sudden. That was a sure sign that there was something bothering her. You want to talk about it? I asked her. Talk about what? Look, if you'd rather not talk about it, it's okay. She seemed fine at first, then she burst into tears. I got out of the pool and put my arms around her. I wish Mommy was here, she cried. Your mother is here, in spirit. She's watching over us right now. Why did she have to die, Daddy? Only God knows that, sweetheart. But if your mother was here, she would tell you to be strong, carry yourself like a lady, and most importantly, always do your best. You're right, Daddy. I'm going to be the best student in my class. She wiped the tears from her eyes. And you know what? I'm going to learn to play the piano better than Alicia Keys. That's my girl. I lifted her up in the air. Now let's go inside and dry off. We've got lots of unpacking to do, and you have to get ready for your first day of school tomorrow. As we were walking towards the house dripping wet, Sam looked up at me with those big brown eyes. You know, Daddy, I wish Mommy could have lived long enough to give me a little brother. I know how you feel. I was an only child. It's hard growing up with no one else to play with. That's not the reason, she said with a sly grin. I wanted a little brother so I could have someone to beat up. That is the end of chapter 6. Stay tuned.